Hi, everyone. I'm John Michael, and welcome back to Cavs Courtside here on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network. New floor out here tonight. Why? Because this is the first game of the Emirates NBA Cup. The Cavaliers get it going as they take on the Bulls. Now, the Cavs reside in Group C of the Emirates NBA Cup, along with the Hawks, also the Celtics, and the Wizards. Don't remember all the rules? Don't know how it works? Don't worry, we got you covered.
Hey, you know why I'm here, and you know what this is all about. It's the Emirates NBA Cup.
Come on!
So, how does this thing work out? First, we're going through the group play round. That's where all 30 teams get put into 6 groups, 5 teams per group.
Each team plays each other one time. These group play games take place every Tuesday and Friday beginning November 12th. At the end of those 4 games, we'll see which teams have the best records in each group.
And those teams, they're moving on to the next round, and that's where things get even more interesting.
Let's see how far we can take it.
Welcome to the quarterfinals. 30 teams started, but only 8 remain. Playing in high-pressured, single-elimination games.
You know what that means? It means from here on out, if you win, you move on.
It's big time. We're so excited.
No, we're just trying to get to Vegas.
But if you lose, you're knocked out.
The last 4 teams standing go straight to the semifinals. And we're playing these games right here under the bright lights of Las Vegas.
Lord knows I like Vegas.
And they'll be playing for the main prize, being named the Emirates NBA Cup champions. And of course, getting to hoist this baby right here, the cup.
That's good.
So clear your calendars, get ready to book your flights to Vegas, and keep your eyes on the prize. The Emirates NBA Cup is on its way.
Garland take over the game again. Darius, a hesitation move. Finds Mobley! It's a brilliant, dazzling move by Darius Garland.
Wow, one of the best assist guys in the league. That is fantastic. The complete point guard in Darius Garland.
Darius Garland, step back, baby.
My goodness.
Darius Garland playing the best basketball of his career.
That was a good win. Y'all the 6 man though. We appreciate y'all. They brought it today. The fans brought it today for sure. We needed that.
Fans brought it tonight. They bring it every night. You look at this game, it wasn't pretty, right? You win ugly, but that's important. Oh, damn! Appreciate you.
All right, and here she is, and yes, I think the glasses thing has worked out well.
Honestly, they're a little dirty right now. I could really use some assistance. I probably should have cleaned them off before this.
I could help maybe a little bit. What a number of fantastic moments on the floor at the start of the season, and that was one of many with Darius, right?
One of many. I mean, I got to tell you, that's one of the greatest things about this group is they've been together for so long now, which we've talked about is rare, right? Like, we've got the continuity, and you're seeing it on the court, but I also get to be a benefactor of that continuity because I've worked with these guys for several years now, so they're comfortable, and sharing in those moments. So it's been so fun. As Darius says, vibes are just immaculate here.
Yeah, and it certainly shows at the end of games the fun that Serena has with these guys. You also have a unique perspective, right? You're behind the huddles during timeouts. Tell us something that you might not be able to pick up on television just by watching the Cavs that you have found out or learned about this bunch in those huddles this season.
Yeah, I would say what's new this season is actually how strong Ty Jerome's voice is in the huddle. A lot of times we talk about, all right, George Niang's going to be talking, Tristan Thompson's going to be talking, those veterans, right? Donovan. But Ty Jerome has a very unique and loud voice in those huddles, and he's very specific. So, like, for example, if he's in a lineup with Evan Mobley and he wants Evan to roll a certain way, he will just tell him, which is really neat. And I'll tell you one kind of fun thing. I remember being in a huddle and him telling Evan, hey, can you do this, better for me next time? And then he said thank you afterwards. Like, we're in this huddle in the middle of a game, and he was like, thanks, man. And that was pretty neat.
How about, you talk about the continuity. The one thing that is different this season is the coaching staff. Kenny Atkinson comes to town. What a start to his head coaching career in Cleveland. How about Kenny in those huddles?
You know what's interesting about Kenny is that he really listens, right? Like, I haven't been doing a ton of huddle reports because in the beginning he wasn't incredibly talkative, because he wants to hear out what his other guys are saying. So he wants the input from Donovan Mitchell. He wants the input from Darius Garland. Obviously, he comes over, sets some plays, and has a couple of things to say. But he's so in tune with what his players are saying and so open to letting his players have a voice in those huddles.
We see this team during games, obviously, but at every practice as well. What's your sense about how this team has responded to Kenny and that new staff?
I mean, it's been great, right? Look, it helps when you've got instant gratification. Like, we're such an instant gratification world. Unfortunately, I think it's to our detriment. However, in this case, to be able to get that this soon has been so unique. I mean, the fact that we have not, been reporting on losses, as an example to start this season speaks to that. But I think when you have a new voice come in and they're so receptive to the players' voices and to getting to know each player, that really helps. And Kenny is a guy, he talks about this, but it's not just him who talks about it, the players talk about it. He's got these touch points with every guy. He wants to make sure he's constantly having conversations outside of the group with each player, so the players have a ton of confidence in their game. George Yang, just as an example, had recently said, Kenny will say, hey, man, I really like it when you do this. Like, do more of that. And so because of that, he feels more confident. Isaac said the other day, like, Kenny's pulled me aside at shoot-around and been like, hey, man, saw that you passed up these open threes. I need you taking those. He's not doing that, in front of the group, lambasting them, right? He's pulling them aside, and because of that, they have so much confidence on the court to play freely.
A huge part of this start for the Cavs has been the play of Darius Garland. Now, you caught up with Darius before the season even began, and he said, I'm freer, I'm playing with more joy, and boy, has that manifested itself this season.
It's been really neat because for you and I both that have been around Darius for a couple of years now, right? Like, seeing that joy prior to last season, knowing how much he has that, and then watching him go through everything he went through last year, all the obstacles, and how his mentality kind of shifted. He had to find that joy. So now he's finally healthy again, right? And like you said, he said to me, his goal for this season is just to find that joy again, right? Just to be happy, play freely, because that's when he is at his best. And he also said, like, this year he wanted it to be a little bit of a coming out party for himself, right? Because he knows he had such a tough year last year. My goodness, are we seeing that out on the court? I would say the number one thing about Darius when you watch him play right now is that he is playing freely, and as a point guard and seeing what he's able to do out there has been just incredible. Play, by the way, too, like clutch time in these moments, 5 minutes down the stretch when they really need something, he's been delivering all season.
Speaking of delivering, Evan Mobley, at the start of the season, we hear from the new coaching staff, hey, we want to use Evan more. We want his usage rate to be higher. You want to talk about a young man stepping it up and responding. It's precisely what the 7-footer's done.
It's unbelievable. I often forget, like, how young Evan really is. And with how good he already is, to see just a couple of tweaks. We've only seen a couple of tweaks, but those couple of tweaks have been huge. The simple fact that he is bringing the ball up the floor. It sounds so simple, but what it is doing to open up the game for other people is incredible. He's already got the defensive end, right? Like, we've known that. And when Kenny Atkinson was brought in here, he said, like, one of his main selling points was going to be his plan for Evan Mobley. I love that Kenny has said that Evan keeps him up at night, like, in a good way, because he's constantly thinking of, like, we can do this with him, we can do that with him. But he also knows he can't throw it all at him at once. He started with him being in transition. We've seen the inverted pick and rolls. But the fact that we know that there's going to be more that he's going to try to keep unlocking has been great, because also, like, Evan's still the same guy. Like, he's still that, like, nothing rattles him. And so it's been really neat to see the potential of him.
Someone else who's still been the same guy is Donovan Mitchell, continuing to make spectacular plays, doing everything he needs to do, yet in a slightly different way, right, Sarita? I mean, Kenny said he's going to embrace this team's bench. His minutes are down. None of this happens unless Donovan sacrifices, right?
100%. This guy is a superstar, but he is the easiest superstar to be around. And that's not just from me. Like, look at what he's doing to sacrifice his numbers for the betterment of the team. That speaks volumes, that he's not worried about his points per game, going down, that he's not worried about playing less minutes. If anything, he's feeling better because he's got less wear and tear on his body. And I think it speaks volumes that when he asked himself in the offseason, okay, like, what do I have to do to reach that next level? We know what that next level is. He wants a championship. He wants to be in those NBA finals. He had to ask himself, like, does that mean I just need to score more points? Does that mean that I just have to take over every game? And he said, no. Like, in order to get to that next level, this is a team sport. And what can I do to help empower the rest of the team to be better? That's increasing Evan Mobley's usage. That's giving Darius Garland more freedom. And we're already seeing that. Now, does that mean that we're not going to see Donovan Mitchell take over nights? No. Like, of course, that's why he gets paid the big bucks. That's why he is a superstar, that whenever they need that from him, I mean, we saw it the other night, scores 11 straight down the stretch to win the game. He can always tap into that. The big part is knowing when to tap into that and when not to tap into that, and instead facilitate for others. And so I think it's just been the perfect culmination to start this season of the continuity of Donovan Mitchell, of Evan Mobley growing, of Darius Garland playing free, and we're seeing it culminate in such a fun season.
Sarita, thanks so much. We'll catch up with you in just a few minutes when we tip off here.
Sounds good.
All right. Hey, when the Cavaliers traded for Donovan Mitchell, they knew they were getting much more than just the player. It was Donovan Mitchell, the human. When we come back, we'll talk about some of the selfless things that Donovan has done, particularly earlier in this season, back in his hometown of Greenwich, Connecticut. We'll take a look at that when we come back on Cavs Courtside, right here on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network.
Jared Allen. Yeah, I feel like Jared's probably been preparing for a zombie apocalypse. He probably has like a bag in his house that's like ready for when the world's gonna end.
I'm gonna go with Dean Wade. He seemed like he can handle himself in a sticky situation.
I think I'm gonna go down to get Tristan. He's like scrappy guy, you know what I mean? Big, strong, scrappy guy. Kind of use him as a shield.
The zombie apocalypse is happening. I'm taking Jared Allen because he has the afro, so they might even think he's a zombie already. So they might leave us alone.
Might have to go by myself, honestly. I'm about to go by myself. You going solo? I'm going solo.
I'd say Donovan. He's got the mix of, he's not too tall, so if we had to hide somewhere, he could hide. And then he's pretty strong, so if we had to fight off a horde, I feel like he'd be a good partner.
Jared Allen. 1,000%. Just because I just feel like he has a bunker at the crib. I definitely feel like he does. Or Dean. I feel like Dean might have one down in Kansas too.
I'm grabbing DG. He's a little scavenger, so he's just going to rock out,
Dean, yeah. Dean for sure. Dean's like a country boy, so I think he'd be really good at survival skills. Dean is a survivor.
That's me.
Well, for a season that's already featured so many wonderful moments, one of the most special may have happened off the floor. Just a couple of weeks ago, the entire Cavs team, staff, coaches, everybody, we were able to go to Donovan Mitchell's hometown of Greenwich, Connecticut, where Donovan donated and dedicated a multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art facility to his alma mater, Greenwich Country Day School. Donovan spoke from the heart, he hit all the right notes, and it made for just a special, special day.
Number 45 in the Cavaliers program, but number 1 in your hearts. Give it up to 5-time NBA All-Star, Donovan Mitchell!
Donated a gym to the school that I went to and, grew up around and in the community I grew up around and in. And it's my first time seeing it, and man, it's special. And Adam and I, we talked about building this in my family, man. I couldn't have saw it looking like this.
Donovan
Kevin had dreamed of leaving his legacy here on campus.
I think it's an environment thing where like you're right on top of the person now in the student section, which is like right on top of the court. You know, it's like a whole thing. That's good.
I love that.
And I'm grateful that he felt the desire and the want to do it at this location.
There it is. Congratulations.
Pray that make this. I know. I done missed like 7 already this season.
Being a part of the Good Our Country Day community was life-changing, not just academically, but just worldly.
The biggest thing about this community was just like, you know, there was no guarantee that I was going to be who I was. There was no sign that I was going to be who I was. It was just really out of the kindness of their hearts to help a child. For me, seeing all the faces that helped me become who I am, from all the way from 3rd grade all the way up to present day, to be able to see them in this space right where I started school here, it's truly, truly amazing.
John Michael back here on Cavaliers Courtside on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network, where the Cavs Academy program does such a terrific job. It's well known throughout Northeast Ohio for teaching basketballs to youngsters throughout all of our communities. And right here on this floor, we had a camp just a couple of weeks ago that was pretty special for a young 12-year-old.
So this is our in-house camps and clinics program. It's for ages 8 to 14. We do have special programs like we saw today where Mark Price came in to run some shooting drills, so we went a little bit older, up to age 16. We predominantly focus on that middle school to later elementary age entry-level basketball player. So Mason and his dad Charles are season ticket members here, and this was the first time he had signed up for a clinic with us. We found out that it was Mason's 12th birthday today, and that this was the way that, even though Mason didn't know it, his dad knew this was how he was going to want to spend his 12th birthday. And as we got to talking, we learned that Mason has a way cooler story and has been through more than most at his young age. He actually had cancer when he was in kindergarten and persevered through that. As his dad worded it, one of the most positive people he's ever met, kept a smile on his face the whole time.
So the doctor came in all, and the doctor felt around, they came back and all that, and he's like, well, we're going to scan you. And then they came back and they're like, you know, have some news for you, which is kidney cancer. So they're like, we're going to need you to go to Nationwide Children's Hospital. So we went and they did the official test and all that, and sure enough, he did have a Wilms tumor. And so a couple days later, they had to do surgery. They took one of his kidneys from him. And then that was, you had cancer. I mean, it was the hardest thing that you ever hear as a parent. Your child has cancer. I mean, it was probably an hour before I could say a word because I couldn't talk. It's definitely a journey that you learn the meaning of life and how short and how fragile it is, and you learn how to appreciate things a lot more. He is healthy, and we just had our first long-term care survivors appointment, and it was actually the first time in a while that his kidney labs were within normal limits, so it was really good to see everything within normal limits. Today is his birthday. I've heard that there's some surprises for him, and they told him some things that may or may not happen, and he's overly excited, and he's been wanting to meet some players, and I think he might have that opportunity, and that's going to be great. He's definitely going to have a birthday he'll never forget.
Happy birthday, man. Give me some. All right. How old are you? 12.
We got something a little special.
That's for you.
Right there.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, man. Wow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you sign the boat, please?
For you.
Oh.
Want that or the ball? You want both? How you doing? Ready for the winning ride?
I'm hoping
hoping that this will re-energize the spark to play basketball, because he kind of was telling me he didn't want to play anymore because new school, not knowing people. But I'm thinking this will re-energize it.
Just wonderful, heartfelt, touching stuff. All right, that'll just about do it for us. We got to get out of here because the Emirates NBA Cup is about to begin. The Cavaliers go to work in Group C, hoping to make the knockout stage. Thanks for watching Cavs Courtside on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network.
We'll be right back.